to the Sad Dads Club podcast. Here's everybody's favorite sad dads, Jim and Foo.
Welcome to Sad Dads Club podcast, episode 264. I'm the Lord Foo.
And I'm Jim, the cable guy.
We're rolling heavy dice this evening.
It's, will the video work?
Dice? Oh, yeah, that'd work. I
Like a 20-sided dice?
That may be better. I was visiting with Venus's brother's dad.
Yeah.
He has a very old 1972 Yamaha 650, like a old roadster motorcycle, and he doesn't ride it because the inside of the tank is so old and like
crusty,
degrading.
Yeah.
That if he drives it
at
a mile and a half, it clogs the fuel filter, and it's carbureted, obviously.
So he doesn't want to just take the tank off and clean it or anything?
He's not a very mechanical person.
Yeah.
And the tank, if you saw it, it's like there are bicycles that are bigger than this thing's footprint. It's a very small motorcycle.
Oh.
And so the tank, I think, is three gallons and a little bit. And it originally started its life as a 650cc engine that he bought a kit that makes it 750. So the 3-gallon tank
really sucks it up.
The 3-gallon tank, and it's been rejetted because obviously he added 100 extra cc's. So the 3-gallon tank is not enough.
So did he have someone do the work then? Someone else install?
Yes,
stuff? Okay.
yes. Took it to. He's been here for the longest time. Carmichael grew up here, went to school here.
So it's sort of like those Orange County chopper bikes that you see that like they have the little tiny tanks and they're not super efficient motors, and they can just cruise for, they hold just a couple of gallons.
Yes,
and they can just cruise for a little bit.
You would mention that because those like when I think Orange County choppers, those bikes, big motors,
yeah,
very modest tanks,
yeah,
and in having a very large cc bike and the 5 and change gallon tank that I have, I'll get about 120.
Wow, it's that big?
Yeah, mine is. I'll get about 120 miles, and I don't have a gauge.
So you get 20 miles of the gallon?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's contrary to what I would expect from a motorcycle.
I mean, when you think about the type of motorcycle I have,
yeah,
it's the V8 version, so it's not a sipper like a inline.
I just thought
or
just motorcycles, just due to their weight and shit, and like tons of other factors. The fact that they only have 2 wheels on the ground. They're less wind resistant, like the whole slew of things, right? That they are.
You would think
just
it would be
generally more efficient than a car.
You would think some are.
Just
like I
even
said,
if they're older.
Mine is not built to be efficient.
Well,
it's built to be like stupid power.
I'm not even saying that it would have to be. In my mind,
you would think it would be better.
Yeah.
Although
I used to watch Orange County choppers all the time back when everybody was in the shop, right? Back when it was like the real thing.
Yeah.
Before it all went sideways. And just knowing from those bike standpoint, what kind of, they're Harley motors, I think they use or something.
Yeah, I think they were.
Not super non-efficient.
Right.
Little tiny tanks. They're all custom builds.
Yeah, you would
big fat wheels.
You would not get far on those bikes. In what I know now, and I hadn't really ever thought about it that way.
Yeah.
Like, they gorgeous.
Yeah.
But those bikes were not meant to go far.
I always thought production bikes from major manufacturers, though, would tend to be more efficient than you would. I think just in general, I just thought that bikes would be more efficient just because that was one of the big benefits to them.
Do miles per gallon for a Yamaha YZF or Yamaha R1. What's it say?
Oh, let's see here. 42.
Okay. Yeah. See, mine is an outlier. Do BMW 1000 RR. It's probably like par with that, near
Let's see here.
plus or minus 5.
Yeah, gas mileage. Let's see what this says. 35.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
I mean, that's...
I wasn't far.
I guess. I mean, that's about the same as a car, really.
Yeah.
Because most cars are in...
And those are the
in that
sport ones.
range
I
nowadays.
would wager that the...
I mean, if you're really honking on it, right, you're going to get far less. It's
Yeah.
like a car. But I always thought motorcycles did like 60 or something.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
it didn't matter. I mean, not that it didn't matter, but most production motorcycles would probably be in the range of 60. That's what I would expect. But that's not necessarily the case, I guess.
Yeah.
It's about a car or even...
Like a really good Civic.
And your bike is a what year again?
2002.
Wow. Okay. So it's even... Wow.
Yeah.
That's 30. It's only a 30.
And mine,
30.
Yeah, mine is at the early stages of like fuel injection. Like, so
No, 20.
Yeah,
20. Yeah, 20 miles a gallon. Okay. That surprises me. I don't know.
It may be closer to, because that was, the 120 miles was my warning light, and I've got about 20 more. So it's
probably a little
we're
bit better.
talking within single digits
23
of 20
miles a gallon.
Yeah.
So, but why? Okay, so I looked it up. It said 42. Why would yours be like almost half of that?
Less advanced fuel management as far as like think like why is a V8 terrible at
why
gas?
is a carbureted thing
Right.
Yeah.
It's a very early version of like fuel mapping. There's not a lot of...
I can see that.
Yeah,
but that's still a huge gap in mileage.
Yes.
And I mean, it's not like you're buying it because it gets some specific number as far as mileage. You're buying it for the visceral experience or whatever it is.
Right.
But still, I would expect it to do
and
better.
I would wager that the inline fours for most manufacturers, like which would probably represent a lot of like the 600cc sport bikes, 1000cc sport bikes, are probably all, by and large, more fuel efficient than any of the V-twin ones. So that's like your Harley motors, your Honda motors, your Yamaha motors that are in that configuration. Yeah. As opposed to the 4 cylinders, like, we're trying to get emissions cleanliness.
Yeah. Do they have emissions? Do you have to get smogs and stuff?
No.
Oh, okay.
But they do have the provisions for reducing emissions.
So they have like a catalytic converter and stuff?
No, it's more like an exhaust reclamation, kind of like a crankcase, like blowback in.
Yeah. Positive crankcase ventilation.
Yeah.
Kind of
that kind of like reclaims dirty, unburnt stuff. I know mine had terrible carbon, like all over the place when I went through it. And when I rode it for the first time back over to the parents of the gentleman who gave it to me, he had mentioned that it was actually on its second muffler.
Wow.
Because it had
clogged up.
Yeah, it had clogged up and fouled up, and he got a donor from another Honda, the same bike. And well, shit, yeah, I wouldn't have known, but I
would imagine that reduces the power.
Him saying that it was clogged, like, was 100% in line with what I had found as I had taken off and done like valve adjustment. Like, holy shit, it's I may have, in just doing inspection, removed, but certainly gave considerations to reinstalling
Even though you didn't.
the California smog equipment.
Did you feel a difference, or had you made it ride?
I had not ridden
You hadn't
it,
ridden it at the point.
but the the general consensus to those who have ridden it before and after
Is there's a difference.
there's a considerable difference. That may also play a part in my fuel efficiency,
Oh,
but
really?
probably only within 1 or 2 miles to the gallon. But I have, with the considerations of the California smog removal components, a always on crackle tune.
Oh, geez.
So it's like I'll zip around and let off the throttle and
Well, I mean, that kind of implies
Yeah.
that implies that you've got a lot of extra fuel.
yeah,
So you're probably running pretty rich.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would.
So is that so? Does it have a tune, or did you tune it, or?
No.
Oh, okay.
With the
It's just how it is. Maybe that's part of the mileage problem.
it could be.
If you're dumping fuel into the
It
exhaust,
could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't like the tuning on, at least on this at this era of a bike. I would have to.
Revamp it.
Yeah, I would have to take off. You don't really get anything unless you do something more significant than I've done, and that thing is typically modifying the airbox. I have not done that. It usually involves like some stupidly egregious, over masculine, like spike
Reach
air
around.
cone thing. Yeah, I mean, look at if you it's
You're
not.
watching.
So
Oh,
you missed
Jesus
it.
Christ, dude!
You didn't see it.
I'm sending an email. That's it.
It's a like a cone filter thing, and that extra amount of air then does throw off the fuel mapping, the simple fuel mapping on the bike.
Yeah.
Then I would have a problem. But with what I've done, it's not. I am curious to see I'll inspect it probably in another season as far as the carbon deposits.
Well, I would expect you to see a bunch of carbon if you're getting backfire, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing out of the backside.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Well, that kind of goes to what's happening with my car, I guess.
So when we last
we spoke.
the breaking news.
Yeah,
Last we spoke, you hadn't heard anything, but you were going to call on Friday.
I did.
So you got all the way to Friday, and you had to make.
I called and I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?" You told me it would be done in a week and a half, and now we're at 3 weeks. So
right.
And he said, "Well, the head was sent out to the machine shop, and so it took longer at the machine shop."
Okay.
Which is, you're at the behest of the machine shop.
Sure.
Okay, fine. And then he tells me, so this was Friday.
Okay.
He tells me that the guy that was working on it is about 90% done, and it should be done Monday or Tuesday.
Okay. It is Wednesday.
Yeah. So this is how it works.
Nah.
Haven't heard anything? It's Wednesday. But the problem being that I don't really understand it, that the machining was to clean up the valve seats.
Okay.
Which. Okay, so
Because you did mention, I think the last time we talked, that they had suggested it was
a burnt valve,
potentially not seating, and it was getting blowback from a
valve
seat.
Originally, they thought. First of all, I thought it was a head gasket problem.
Okay.
They thought it was head gasket or possibly a burnt valve.
Okay.
They have said that it was carbon had gotten into the valve seat and caused a problem so that the valve wouldn't seat properly.
Okay.
I see how that could happen, because if the valve doesn't seat properly, then you don't have compression.
Right.
Right. But what I don't understand is it ran like it missed hard driving it.
Okay.
And then I parked it for a few hours at the by
Mall.
In-N-Out,
Oh, okay.
by the donut shop there.
Yeah.
And then
Krispy Kreme.
That's
right.
Yeah, in the Krispy Kreme parking lot. And it sat for a couple of hours while we went and grabbed dinner, and I came back and I sat in it for a little while, and I said, last time this happened, I just started it up and it ran fine.
Right.
So I'm going to try that. It starts up and runs fine. So it went from running like total garbage, right?
Right.
To the point to where it was cooling off,
Mm-hmm.
and then it ran fine. So I don't see how that's a carbon related issue.
I don't either, because if you're gonna say it's a carbon thing,
It would still be there when it was cold.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
a physical obstruction that doesn't necessarily ebb and flow with the heat and thermals of the engine.
Right.
And just because you turn the car off, I can't make that work.
In my mind, no. And that's why I think, or I still kind of do, think that it was a head gasket problem. Because if the head is warping, or if the head gasket was bad to the extent, if the head gets hot and it warps, and it just gets hot enough that suddenly now pressure can get through the head gasket, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's giving you some tolerance there, then I could see that. Because that's the only difference between it working correctly and not working correctly is some sort of thermal thing.
Does it have... Oh, man. Okay. Does it have, like, variable cylinder shutoff?
It's only a 4-cylinder, so I doubt it. You mean like where on a V8 you would shut down 4 of the
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Does it have any of the, like, fancy Honda shit with, like, variable cam timing?
It does. Yeah.
I could see how that may be something, but that also would not work just because it cooled off. Like, once you
Right.
got below a rev range, if you were
Which I never really got over a rev
Right.
range. I'm just driving around town.
Right, and if it was trying to do, like, advanced timing things based off of wherever you were at speed or RPM, then certainly an obstruction that didn't impact at the non-camp, but that does not work if just because you shut the engine off and then you turned it back on.
Well, because think about it
there.
this way. It ran rough. I stopped,
Yep.
shut the car off. After a few minutes, I tried it again. It ran rough. So it's still running rough. So
right.
in my mind, it's still probably hot enough that whatever is happening is happening.
Right.
Then it sits for a couple hours because we went to dinner and stuff.
Right.
And then it's cooled off. Start it, and it runs fine. So that to me reeks of head warpage /
And all the machine shop did was like a valve lap
I don't
type of shit.
know exactly.
No decking. No.
Maybe I don't know. And then, so yeah, I'm a little bit nervous, and maybe that's why I don't have my car. I don't know.
Yeah, they like got it.
Maybe
back
they
did a
put it
test
all back
drive, and
together.
then,
Yeah, they went and did the test drive that I told them this is, and they know how to recreate it. So they did their test drive. I'm assuming at this point, if it was 90% done, then he had 2 days to get that finished.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume he would have had it done, especially when he told me Monday or Tuesday. That's what he said. So here we are Wednesday, which tells me that maybe they went and did the test drive and they had the same exact problem.
And at this point, if he had gotten it all put back together, you would have had a new head gasket.
Yeah.
You would have had the valve job done. The valve seats
The valve seats would have been cleaned. And the intake runners, I assume, which is where the carbon would have been coming from, right? Well, it comes back
and your
out
head
of
is your head is completely clean
Right.
at this point.
So none of those things are the thing. Then we're going back to the head warping
Yeah.
or something. So I don't know.
I wonder if they would replace the studs. Like the head.
I'm sure there's a GM procedure for all of it that they.
Like
I
if you're gonna
assume
if
they
you're gonna
follow
do
that stuff.
Tear that shit down. I don't. imagine you ever reuse your head studs.
I don't know. I would have to. I have a manual for the car.
Yeah.
Maybe I should look that up. I don't know. It probably tells you to reuse them or to replace them, but I don't know. So it's a mystery. I saw at this point again. Like I said, I really thought I would have a car today. I really thought I was going to have a car yesterday, and I thought maybe I might have a car on Monday, and I still don't have a car. So it's kind of rough. Getting beyond that.
Yes.
We don't know. We'll find out later. I assume in the next week I'll have some
Tune
knowledge.
in next week,
Yeah.
kids.
So this weekend, this is the saddest story I'm going to tell you. Okay. I got a bunch of stuff to do, right? First of all, Sunday is my wife's birthday. And so Saturday I've got a bunch of shit to do, which is always part of that was,
Dad.
Part of it is getting shit for my wife's birthday, which I don't have a car. So this is where the problem lies, right? As far as not having a car. So there's that. But I'm like, I've got mowing to do. I've got a bunch of yard work things to do.
Right.
Vacuuming up leaves, and there's shit all over the backyard from the trees out back and that kind of stuff. So I get up, I don't know, like 7:30, and I'm not doing anything yet. I'm just sort of taking my time. It's Saturday. I go out in the other room and I start playing Zelda. I'm sitting on my desk chair, my office chair, playing Zelda at my computer screen, right? And maybe 20 minutes, and my back just decides, out of nowhere, not doing anything besides sitting in my chair, just to give up the ghost. I felt something and immediately went, oh no, here it goes. And my back, I could barely move. I could barely move.
Where back?
Lower back.
Lower back. Okay.
So all the muscles are now fucking pissed off and seizing on me all the time. It's just like tightening up.
Oh boy.
Very painful. And, anytime you move, it's just some weird way, or not even a weird way. You just kind of move away and your muscles all seize up on you. So from Saturday through today, it's been muscle relaxers and pain meds.
Oh, nice.
And
are the good pain meds?
No, just to leave.
Oh.
Nothing like, I don't usually take stuff like that.
I have aspirin. Just say aspirin.
Well, Aleve.
Pussy meds.
Aleve does help. I
like,
never
are your eyes dilated right now? That's what I'm looking for right now. Like, how high are you?
I don't take prescriptions for stuff like that. I don't. I don't want to take that. In fact, even the muscle relaxers make me silly. They make me tired and groggy and almost feel like I'm been drinking.
Like putting on a puppet show with your dick kind of loopy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. You know that feeling? So it's called a dick puppet.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I don't like the way they make me feel. That it's difficult to like work if you take one because you get tired. And also sitting in the same chair that I work where I hurt my back is a challenge. So this week has been a little bit hard.
Shit, yeah, it's Wednesday.
But I have been trying to make sure, like, all 3 days I took Max for a walk. Monday and Tuesday were really difficult walks. Monday especially, holy shit. I look like an old man walking the dog. I could barely even move my legs, and he's partially towing me half the time because I'm walking so slow. And I'm like, I need to get my back stretched out anyway. So I'm going to take him. He needs to go for a walk. He needs that time. So I just do it. And today, it's doing okay.
Yeah.
At this point, the last 2 nights, I've only been taking muscle relaxers at night. So I take them right before I go to bed.
I was going to say, so you could sleep?
Well, yeah. And that you don't really want to have a situation where you're in bed and you just move and have everything seize on you.
Blow out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All the muscles, you don't want to be in bed and having that happen. So it's rough few days.
So okay, so is this have you had an injury that has led to this, or are you just somehow, you think, predisposed to something? Because your son suffers from lower back stuff too, but he's also been pinball
Yeah.
with car accidents.
He had a rear ender that caused his.
That did his.
And I think mine came from back when the kids were younger. We had a swing set thing delivered to the house.
Okay.
Came in really heavy boxes.
Yeah.
That we needed to move from the driveway to the back, and I lifted up one of them and felt my back do the same thing that happened on Saturday. And that was that was the first time I had ever had my back do that to me. So that's when you ask me that, that's what I would point to, is that moment.
Okay.
And I've had a few episodes over the years.
I was gonna say
of that.
Once or twice I think I've heard you, but usually you've irritated at doing something. So this would be the first time I've heard you talk about this, where you're like, I was doing nothing.
Yeah, I was sitting exactly like I'm sitting right now in my chair.
It wasn't like, hey, Shan, treat me like a rag doll and
no.
Watch the Dick Puppet Show.
I wasn't sitting back in the chair. I wasn't lounging. I was literally sitting up, with posture, in fact. Kind of sitting up and just playing a little bit, and it just happened. So, whatever.
It's funny you mentioned the chair, because for the longest time, we talk at length, because telecommuting, it's one of the few things I tell people is your chair, your desk chair, your environment when you're working from home is top. It has to be top, because it's how you treat your body for long, because you're going to be sitting.
Yeah.
Unless you're doing the sit-stand desks actively. I had, for years and years, I had what I thought was comfortable, but in hindsight, it was like a gamer chair, a very high back, had a lumbar cushion, good armrests. But I think about probably 2 years ago, it was post-COVID, but not too far. I just started to struggle daily with like being comfortable in it for a chunk of time.
Yeah.
And I had realized that I had worn out the ass. I had just
the cushion.
I had completely compressed the cushion, and it was uncomfortable. I still have an Aeron from like Y2K Wachovia First Union Bank era that I was set this one aside. It was like the spare office chair that like Venus or the kids will sit in and play Xbox if they're playing behind me or something. Yeah. It's like the spare chair. And I moved to this gamer's chair. So, I chuck the gamer chair and I go back to the Aeron. Well, the Aeron is older than the Honda motorcycle.
Right.
It's probably 25 years old. It retains a lot of comfort, but what I had realized in the last 2 months or so is that like the front cushion, like the waterfall part of the front end of it, I had like I get like an hour and a half into sitting, and like the hamstrings would start to feel like I was sitting on like a 2x4.
Yeah.
Like it was like super, like I would get very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I'd use that as an excuse, like, oh, well, it's time for me to get up and take a stand break. Yeah, but then it would just start to get very irritating.
It would just happen quicker.
Yeah, like it's like I'm so old, like my gap in between like being in pain was like, okay, fine. So I bought a yoga ball, like a big yoga ball. And I find that it has.
So you're using that to sit on now?
I trade because because having not used something like that for a very, very long time. Like I used to have one of those kneeling chairs.
Yeah.
I did like that.
Are you talking about like the old school 80s style computers?
Yeah.
A chair? Okay.
Yeah, like you would have to
Those were always kind of comfortable.
I had
You sort
when
of
I
lean
worked-
on your shins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had it's like the bottom half of like one of
Yeah.
those mall massage chairs.
Yeah.
Like it's you used one of those for a good year and a half, 2 years when I worked at PCWA.
Do they still make those?
I think so.
Oh, I haven't seen one in a long
But
time.
when I left Auburn to go to Charlotte, I didn't take it with me.
Yeah.
And I never really went back to that. But I have sat. I have like a. It's almost like a stool, but it's like it's like a pogo stick.
Okay.
But it's with a very cushy bar. You've seen it. It's like a bar stool, super cushion top
Okay.
on like a pogo stick compression shock.
And hopefully it goes through the seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not. yeah.
Hopefully the seat just gives up the ghost.
But what happens is like I tend to lean a little bit
Yeah.
instead of like just sitting in one place.
Yeah.
So I have it, but anyway, the yoga ball.
I feel like you can do the same thing with just like the bottom part of an actual real chair. Just take the arms and the back off. And you would just have like this like cushy rolling stool thing, but with wheels.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Probably could.
Yeah.
If it wasn't like a 25-year-old Aeron, it would probably be very posture correcting.
Yeah.
So I have found that like in spending time in the yoga ball, it has like certainly corrected my posture.
Yeah.
And then in the times when it's like, okay, I need a fucking break now. Like, cause okay, after like 2 hours of sitting
of core
as you should, yeah,
of core strengthening.
Okay, Daddy needs a break. I'll sit in the Aeron, which, like I said, is a nice chair. I find that when I'm not having to work on my posture and work on my core, I
slump.
And I'm like, well, fucking, that's probably part of the problem. Like, if I'm not working on it, I'm cool, bro.
I mean,
kind of a thing.
I did go buy this a couple months ago. I bought a Lazy Boy desk chair.
Yeah,
brand new one.
Really? They make those?
Yeah, it's a nice chair.
Is it like
they get expensive, man?
Are you shitting me? Like
Holy shit.
Fucking the Logitech G1, whatever Aeron, it's expensive as a fucking iPhone.
Yeah. I mean,
or more.
I didn't spend that much money, but I got a decent chair and it's very comfortable. In fact, Chandler went and bought the same chair.
Did he?
Because he had like a gamer's chair that he he asked for it for Christmas, and then it got purchased for him for Christmas. So then he had it in his house, and then the fucking thing just started falling apart.
Oh, yeah.
And like some of the casters broke and shit. But so he ended up buying the same chair that I have, just in a different color. But man, it's got nice sturdy. It's very sturdy. It doesn't creak and shit like my old chair.
Yeah.
You know. So I mean, I don't think my chair really has anything to do with it.
Probably
I think it was
not.
just
If you were just sitting there and you're...
Yeah, I think it was just whatever circumstances happened at that moment. My back just said, "Fuck you, man."
Yeah,
and
they're like light on electrolytes or something, and there's a chemical imbalance, and guess what?
I do think that...
Sad dad.
I really do think that probably hydration has something to do with it, for sure.
Sure.
But I don't know. But,
How much water are you drinking?
Probably not enough.
Not enough.
I try to. You know?
My dad came down 2 weeks ago, and he's like, have you talked to your sister lately? And I went, No, Dad. Let's just quit beating around the bush. What do I need to know? And he's like, well, she went and had her physical, and she's dehydrated. So you should send her a message.
Breaking news.
Telling her to drink water.
That sounds familiar.
And I went
to somebody else that we know.
Okay. And he's like, so, keep on top of her. And then he absolutely, justifiably read me the riot act on, like, when was the last time you had a physical? And I went, too long, Dad. And he's like, do you have health care? Yes, you should do that. You get a fucking checkup. You go fucking 45 is the new 50 for that prostate shit. And, we may have a history of polyps, so you should do that. And I went, I'm not disagreeing with you. I will do that. I will do that.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to get me. I'm not going to say no.
Right.
I need to make a better effort.
Yeah.
I have great coverage. I just hit my fucking 25-year anniversary. I have fantastic health care. There's no reason I shouldn't be taking advantage of where am I at? What can I correct something or adjust something to get better longevity out of whatever I've got?
Right.
Like, but I am just a busy dad, a busy husband, and that's not really an excuse, but that's how I'm kind of trying to make it work.
Yeah.
But I did tell Venus, I mean, there's no reason why I shouldn't. And perhaps for my birthday, I'll schedule a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah.
Because I'm not opposed to it. It's just time for me.
Yeah.
Which is a very piss poor excuse. You should, if you have health care, you should take advantage of the things that are afforded to you to keep on top of your health.
I feel like healthcare, even though I have health insurance, and Dave knows this,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's just a way to bilk some money out of me when I go do some shit. And unexpected bills just start showing up. And
Yeah.
you're just like, fuck off. I hate that.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I don't like going to the doctor, is because what am I going to get billed for afterwards?
So here's a
It drives me crazy.
an interesting hypothetical, because I have an anonymous coworker who's okay.
He's from the hacker group Anonymous?
Yeah. So here's the very complex decision, and here's the hypothetical. His wife had a low stage 1 or stage 2, and if you've got someone in like 1 degree that you understand breast cancer better than I do, she had a very low stage version of breast cancer. Proactively, double mastectomy. The subsequent scans, and this has all happened in the span of the last 3 months. She went in, had her yearly mammogram. They saw something that was concerning, and it was like I want to say, to put it in layman's terms, it was not the 3 or 4 where you have to be concerned about its spreadability. It was, we've got this early. This is what we need to do.
Sure.
So they opted for double mastectomy. The subsequent scans from the doctors said, we're overly positive with large amounts of confidence.
105%.
We've got it, but we would recommend that you do a light chaser treatment of radiation and chemotherapy. And the odds are that it could mitigate. It's not a guarantee that they're going to get it, and she will never get a resurgence, or that they're going to catch it all. It will be like removing like something at a 15% chance in 10 to 15 years that there may be something that comes back. It like putting it into the single digits. But you have to live with and go through the pain and anguish and discomfort of chemo, whatever the length of the chemo and the radiation is, for however long that long takes to get you a single digit.
Yes.
But not a guarantee that you will never have to have cancer again.
Right.
And they're trying to weigh in the face of, well, of course, you're a doctor. You would recommend me get the next set of things that's going to cost tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, because you're probably, there's a portion of this
The
that where you're-
recommendation doesn't take into account anyone's healthcare coverages or cost to the
Right.
person.
Right.
Or,
There's a portion of your doctor that you would hope is always looking out for the best interests of the patient. Absolutely. But you can't get around the part where they are also selling a service.
Sure.
So with the current mindset that your double mastectomy went exactly as planned, the reconstructive surgery for her has gone as planned. There are no complications. The subsequent scans for cancer have come back negative, and they're very confident that they got it all. There is a frosting on the cake here where we can get you a single-digit chance that you will never see this in 10 to 15 years. Do you take it?
That's tough.
Right.
I mean,
And it's not.
it sounds like it's elective too, to a certain degree. It sounds like your insurance probably would be like, well, it doesn't sound like
yeah,
you
that
really
I
even
don't
need
know.
it.
That part.
If you elect to do it,
right,
then the insurance might go, we're not going to cover that.
Well, what does the post scan say?
Yeah.
There's none there. Oh, well, then you're doing this for gravy,
Right.
know?
So that's a tough.
Yes, I hadn't really thought about that because I hadn't thought about that. But what I told him, one was, we're both. He is just the husband, so he is. If you want my opinion, here's what I think. But obviously, as with most things that involve a woman's body, it's her choice.
Sure.
And we're just along for the ride, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I said, if it was prostate cancer, testicular cancer, or some other cancer that was operable for me, and they're like 60, so they have children with a grandchild on the way and one that is single digit in age. I said, for my family and the kind of father that I am, I eat the chemo and I eat the radiation, because if it gives me, if I happen to buy 5 extra years for an opportunity to hear a giggle, to see a smile, to take a picture, where if I didn't in this moment, the kind of grandpa that I would like to be I'll eat the pain. I'll take that pain for an opportunity to hear that.
Sure.
Or to be there for that, so that they get to see or be with just once before I have a resurgence. Every person is obviously different. I don't know how that, healthcare, the funds, where, if it's not covered by your insurance, what does that do? Like the implication monetarily to what you want to help support your children or the things that they may need, does that now completely go fucking sideways because you are spending tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars on your own chemo and radiation?
Yeah.
Like, shit.
That could ruin somebody.
Right, absolutely. Now all of a sudden the nest egg that as middle class or lower class families that you're like, I've worked 50 something years in this job and I don't have a lot, but I do have this to give to you, to hopefully give you a head start or an ease of mind just for a couple of years, maybe, hopefully. And if I have to pay and it's not covered and I just ate that, like, what? Fuck. Heavy,
that could
heavy questions.
That could blow through someone's 401k. That
Absolutely.
Could,
absolutely
ruin someone's retirement.
Yeah, I'm like,
that's a tough one.
Yeah,
that's tough.
You would hope it was covered. I had just presumed the part where it may be covered, but I don't know.
I mean, there's always a possibility.
Sure, but I mean, you would hope that there would be like, hey, my doctor is recommending this because there is still a % chance. Like it's a non-zero number that they did get everything, but the scans look positive.
But
so
the thing of it is even though you go through with the procedure, you're still at a non-zero number.
Exactly. You don't.
Yeah.
Either
it's
way,
percentages, right?
Like in this moment, it's a non-zero number. If you opt for
destroying your 401k,
right? It's a less.
It's still a
non-zero number.
Yeah, that's tough. That's really tough.
And the fucking body is made up of molecules. You could end up with cancer of the, or a seizure.
Yeah.
Or a stroke.
Yeah.
Or a fucking glioblastoma.
Or a heart attack.
Or a heart attack. Yeah. Like, because you made it out, so then you spent a year eating fucking Mickey D's or some French fries, and now you've got cholesterol problems. Like, what did you do?
Yeah, that's and it's not uncommon to hear about people who get financially ruined over medical snafu stuff.
Right.
It's not uncommon.
Right. Welcome to
America.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's
to be rough. Like in the UK and just be worried about the non-medical part.
Yeah.
You're like, well, yeah, but now you've got a cholesterol problem and bad teeth.
Yeah. Well, I hope your sister drinks more water.
Right. I sent her
Bottom line.
I think like a couple days later, she sent me something just randomly, and I said, "Oh, by the way, I'm obligated through oldest sibling duties at behest of our father to tell you." I dragged it over like three individuals. You need to drink more water. And she's like, fuck my life. Like, what the fuck? Just drink water. And I told him, too. Like, like we've talked here at length on the show. Like, I'm a telecommuting pro. You need to drink your fucking water. You need to take your stand breaks.
Yeah.
You need to stop staring at the screen for hours. You need to take an eye break. The eye strains are real.
Yeah.
Get a really good screen. You need to have a really good desk with a tray and a keyboard that makes you happy.
Yeah.
Because all of those things, like, but if you hate your job, well, then I got nothing for you. Not that that's where I'm at. There's no camera on me, so you can't.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So I did something for myself for a change.
Did you?
I did. Sweet. I've been talking about it for a long time, and it's something I really been wanting to do.
Anal.
Yes.
God damn, right?
Receiving end.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking.
Wait,
what?
No, I finally bought a new home theater amp.
Oh
my gosh, I've been wanting to do this for a while.
Yes.
So the amp I had was
because you were locked into 1080p still, weren't you?
It wasn't even that. The amp I had didn't even have HDMI on it. It was a really old
dude.
It was a really old amp that just had inputs on it.
Congratulations.
I know. I'm in the And what happened was, and I had been researching amps for a while, and the prices were just, they're outrageous. I didn't want to spend $500 on an amp. It just wasn't something I wanted to do.
Uh-huh.
So we went to Costco a couple weeks ago, and we're walking through the home entertainment television down the right side, and I just happened to notice they have
Onkyo.
A Denon home theater amp, and I was like, I don't know about Denon as a brand. I mean, my Yamaha is not that great. I don't think I've never really been happy with the audio quality out of the Yamaha anyway. But I'm like, so I guess it wouldn't matter. And I'm for some reason like Yamaha as a brand, and the Yamaha amp that I had been looking at was $500, and I'm like, I just don't want to spend that kind of money.
Is Denon the premium of Yamaha? Is that what you're saying?
No,
I don't know.
No, it's not. Yamaha's Yamaha. Denon's Denon.
Oh, okay.
And but they had this, and it had all of the fucking features that I wanted. It had networkability. It had AirPlay 2. It had all of the codec stuff that I wanted to have out of audio and video.
Okay.
Like, I don't know, 5 HDMI ins and 1 out, Wi-Fi, Ethernet. It had just everything I wanted, right?
Dolby's?
Oh, yeah, the Atmos and all the shit. And I was like, oh, cool. And it was $450.
Yamaha. Or Denon.
The Denon.
The Denon. Okay.
Yeah, at Costco. And I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, that's
There
exactly what I want, you know?
Right.
That's $450. I'm like, $450. That's cutting close to a Yamaha, you know, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And so Shan says, oh, you'll have to go look and see what the reviews are like on it. So I start looking up the model. And
while you're still there?
No, like after we left.
Okay.
We left, and I'm like, oh man, it gets pretty good reviews, you know? That's pretty cool. So then, I don't know, a couple of weeks later, we go back to Costco, and I said, let's just run back by there. I just want to take a look at that thing again. It was on sale.
Okay.
For like $375.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh shit. And I didn't even realize it. I'm looking at it, and Shen's all, it's on sale. Wasn't it $450 before? I'm like, yeah, it's $375. It's $75 off. And I'm like, should we get it?
Smells like
she
wallet
goes,
time.
Yeah. So it just got picked up and put in a cart. And I bought it.
Nice.
I bought that motherfucker. And man, I'll tell you what a huge difference in audio quality.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
We were watching. Okay, so we love to talk about things that we like to watch.
Yes.
We watch on Disney Plus. They have a Halloween section now.
Yes.
And the first item in that section is the Goosebumps series.
Okay.
And you know, it's a kids book series.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But this is a TV show, Goosebumps. And so I'm like, I had just started watching it one night. And it was Atmos encoded, and holy shit, like some of the shit happening behind me made the hairs, and I'm like, I don't remember even the last time the Yamaha fucking produced any audio out of the back speakers. You know what I mean? And holy crap. It took a little tuning to get there. I expect that.
Right.
But fuck, what a big difference. So then my wife and I, the show was pretty good, and she wasn't sitting there watching. I was just fucking around trying to get, like, I wanted to hear how it sounds.
Right.
So then I'm like, hey, let's watch this Goosebumps series. It starts out pretty good. And she's like, okay. And this is a couple beginning of the week. Over the weekend maybe or something. We watched the whole thing, like 8 episodes or something. Awesome show, by the way, just as an aside. So if you are interested in some Halloween-ish, very, very well done production. I'm super impressed with it. All the special effects are really good. And if you got a Denon amp with your Polk Audio speakers, it sounds really good.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't have any rear channels hooked up.
Yeah. So I'm really impressed with it. So I was very excited.
So wow.
I bought it for myself.
Have you filled up all of the HDMIs yet?
No, because, I don't have that much stuff. I got like a PlayStation 3, which sometimes we watch Blu-rays on. Very rarely.
You have a newer TV, though, don't you?
Fairly new.
4K?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
yeah, and it does all that.
Yeah.
And then I have the Switch. And then I have the Apple TV, which is basically our TV box because we got Fubo and stuff.
Right.
And all the streaming services are on that. So and what's cool is if you want to watch TV, I just bought Shan a new Apple TV. The remote has a power button on it. You hit that because of like I forget what it's called. HDMI EARC. EARC. Through that, when you hit power, all the shit just turns on from the Apple TV. TV comes on, the amp comes on, everything comes on, and it just fucking works. It's brilliant.
power of the Jesus.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So
you like did it.
I did. I finally did something for myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I never do that kind of thing. But I'm just excited about it. I had to mention it.
Yeah.
I don't spend money like that on myself. And it's not like I spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
$400 or whatever, But I feel good about it.
How old was the old?
Oh, it's easily probably 15 years old or more. I've had it for a really long time. I don't even remember what model it is.
Yeah.
But HDMI wasn't a thing back then, and it was all, optical in or
that's old.
Yeah, optical
it was
or
old. What'd you do
or
with
RCA. It's right now. It's just sitting there on the chair because I guess I'm going to try and sell it probably on Facebook Marketplace or something. I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it still totally works, but
it'll make some college kid probably. Although some college kid probably doesn't have a TV that'll work with it. What's these component?
Yeah, component
outs. I don't.
Yeah.
I just have one cable for my monitor.
It's weird because speaking of, that's always something that I have strived for is like nice home theater setup with audio and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Kids nowadays, Chandler's into it, but like I don't think most kids are. They're content watching with earbuds and a phone
screen.
Or
on
a computer or on an iPad or something like,
Yeah.
They don't. Melly watches all kinds of stuff on her phone.
Yeah. I think that's like the car stereo thing is like the same way. Like Piper is completely content with. She needs her like a phone mount so that she can see maps and stuff,
right?
And play music. But the things like, whereas. As soon as I had the truck, I was like, okay, so
bring that sub over, Jim.
Yeah, what's available to me? It's okay, so deck, and I do these components, and those can stay, but I should rewire everything, and I need to get some RCAs out to here. I need bigger gauge and the amp. Fuck, okay, so the amp, yeah. Bring the sub over, and ta-da!
Oh yeah.
Every kid that I've put in there is like, that sounds amazing.
Yeah,
but. Neither of which probably
turns into them spending any money or doing anything about it.
It wouldn't have been something that they would have cared about. Like, and it's fine. Not that Piper has disposable income to be like, well, I want to upgrade the stereo. She wouldn't have done that anyway. She would rather put that money to something smart, I'm sure.
I always was like, if I'm in my car, I want my audio to sound great. I want it to sound really good.
Yeah.
So from that standpoint, like I just being content with the thing that's in there, was never.
Yeah, I have a hard time. Now I used to be that way with our home entertainment stuff.
Yeah.
Where I'm in that like a lull. I'm in a valley right now.
Yeah.
Because the stuff that I have is decent. I have no complaints. I don't have a 4K TV, and that's fine. And I've got some pixels that are blown out on it, and that's fine because the length of time. And I have a nice a Sony amp, but I don't have any rear channels because
it's a big pain to get wire back there.
And like the
you can do wireless now.
Right. The version of me that's also in the stage, like the home or the car audio guy, like the generations that I'm now in that place with the home audio. Like if I do this, then I'm doing it like a one final time that meets all of the super retentive. I want it done right. It doesn't have to be the most expensive stuff, but right. I want very good fidelity, non-janky installation, and I want things to just work, not be like, well,
If I rub the carpet right,
or have to be like listen to Venus or someone not be able to also turnkey take advantage of the thing that I've set up. Like if it's only something I can make work,
that's not.
I fucked up.
Yeah.
If it needs to be someone comes in and has the experience, that's what I need. Money, time, are not there, and the research for stuff is like fuck.
You can spend a shitload of money on fucking home theater stuff.
Oh, in a heartbeat. Absolutely.
I mean, you can buy home theater amps that are $1,200 in a blink of an eye.
Oh yeah.
So I spent paltry money. You know what I'm saying? Like very little money compared to most people. Like basically maybe higher entry level type shit, because there's lower entry level stuff from where I'm at.
Sure.
So I'm probably on the high end of the entry level sort of setup. I'm completely happy with it. I don't need.
Oh yeah.
All my surround speakers are, I think they're RM7 Polk Audios or something. They're just tiny little bookshelf speakers with a center channel and then a Sony subwoofer. And it's not like it's all monster shit. It's just
that's the same. Yeah. Same time.
Yeah.
It's just.
It sounds great though, and it makes me like excited to watch stuff.
Yeah, you need to watch like what? Fuck, what's a like a Top Gun? What's the new one?
Yeah, the new Maverick.
Yeah. I bet that sounds amazing.
I bet you just regular Top Gun, because that's always sort of the
Master and Commander. You gotta watch that one.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
I'm excited to see some new Star Wars show or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I've watched all the Ahsokas, and I'm not sure where to go next. So I just have to go look at the stuff. But it's just fun. I just think it's cool.
What do you think of Ahsoka? We're at time, so this is probably where we'll end it.
Okay. I think the series is great. I just I'm trying to even remember how it ended. At the end on the last show.
Hashtag spoilers. Turn off now if you didn't see the end of Ahsoka.
Beep boop bop.
Beep boop. And Thrawn jumps back.
Right.
Leaves Sabine, Ahsoka,
and what's his name?
And Huyang in the shuttle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
To go back to the planet. Ezra is on the ship with Thrawn. Ezra takes the shuttle that he stole in Stormtrooper armor and Chopper.
That's
and
right.
Hera.
Okay. I think it's really good. It's sort of like I think it's not quite as good as Mandalorian, but right up there.
Okay.
Very, very close to it, in my opinion.
Balin skull on the hand. There's a scene with Balin, so the best beard in the galaxy, on the hand, and he's looking off in the distance.
I'm trying to remember it.
It's a short scene. And then you had Shin Hati, so she goes to the Raiders camp and throws her lightsaber into the air, lights it.
Oh, yeah,
so you pretty much gather that's where she's going.
Yeah.
And then there's a long, big pull-out shot with Balin.
Oh, the dude that was with her most of the time. Yeah. Okay.
Her master on the hand, outstretched hand, looking off into the distance, the mountains.
Okay.
Did you recognize the hand that he was standing on?
It looked like it was from Lord of the Rings or something.
Okay,
but...
so it was from the Clone Wars series. There were 3 gods. They were called the Mortis gods.
Okay.
And the hand that he was standing on was of the father. And there was a statue to his left, which represented the son. And to his right was a statue that didn't have a head or an upper torso. That was the daughter. Because in the Clone Wars series, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, and Anakin end up on this planet where they essentially get like... Anakin gets shown that he's the chosen one.
Uh-huh.
And what you gather from the series is that he's intended to take the place of the father, to be the balance of the Force. In the cartoon, the father balances the daughter and the son.
Oh, those guys.
Yes.
Okay, now I know.
The son tries to kill the father,
Right.
but the daughter steps in the way, and
That's the same planet?
no.
Oh, different
It
planet.
was like they fly into a nebula in a portal or something.
Okay.
It's not the same.
Okay.
And I can't remember exactly how it happens, but Ahsoka dies, and Anakin takes what's left of the daughter and revives Ahsoka. So the running theory is that Ahsoka sort of represents the light and the
daughter
of the daughter.
Yeah.
And the daughter is kind of often represented by following Ahsoka around as an owl. It looks like it's not an owl, what we recognize as an owl. One of the last shots, Ahsoka is like looking off into the distance, and there's the daughter's owl like off into the thing, and she turns around and says, "I think we're where we're supposed to be." So the planet itself has some sort of tie
significance
to the cartoons again, like a big story that Filoni is apparently telling using the three gods.
Mm-hmm.
Super fascinating.
It's crazy how they're tying all the stuff together.
Yes. So
I mean, I would have never picked up on any of that. I mean, I watch them, and whatever I see is, I don't pick up on little things. Do you read stuff about it afterwards, or do you just see it and go, "Oh, I know exactly what that is"? Because I don't. A lot of those subtleties I just don't pick up.
I recognize.
You recognize it.
I recognize a lot.
Shit.
I got like the primer, like the fucking Disney series,
I got a
like did like an
primer for
Ahsoka. Yeah.
Open your face.
Yeah. You ever tried anal? With the Star Wars.
That's a good put.
Yeah. And then I see stuff like like my feet. I can't escape it.
Yeah.
And things that I miss, then I what I'm doing here, like when Ezra rebuilds his lightsaber, and he says, "Well, you can't use that. It would make the emitter too thin, and it wouldn't work." Is a joke. It's like an inside tongue-in-cheek joke about how people used to bitch and moan that in the Rebels series, the lightsabers were drawn and animated as toothpicks. So here in live action, they're making a joke about how in Rebels, people used to bitch and moan about Ezra's lightsaber being like a toothpick, like the was too thin compared to like lightsabers in the Clone Wars animated series.
Okay.
So there are all kinds of loose, like,
I would have never picked any of that stuff up. It's all face value stuff for me.
Shit. Tons of stuff.
Even what escapes me too is like you're talking about names of people, the guy and the woman.
The Mortis gods?
Yeah, I didn't.
Sure.
I had no fucking idea what any of their names were. I wouldn't have remembered what any of their names were. You know what I mean? I watch it and I'm like, I don't even know who that chick is, but I know who she's hanging with that dude for whatever reason, and I don't know who that dude is either, and they don't say their names, or I don't remember them saying their names.
Yeah.
And if they do, I didn't recognize it or whatever. So it's like a lot of that stuff just goes, whew. It's just like the story. I'm just seeing the story.
Well, so I think that's what it's not sort of. For me, that's what separates the difference between Mandalorian and the certainly like Rebels and the Ahsoka series. The Ahsoka series for me is I can see because of the way the series ends and what they dropped along the way, I can see a much bigger story this is 2 or 3 seasons in order to tell a super complex, like a Lord of the Rings size story. While Mandalorian's season all kind of ties together and is episodic, but also digestible in episodes.
their stories are told completely within one
Right.
episode.
The
Yeah.
Ahsoka series, for me,
It's like a long movie.
yes,
broken up.
and it is as a Star Wars. I'm
Nerd.
using yes. I was going to say historian, but nerd is
Nerd.
100% acceptable. Like there is a really big payout here that is net new for the Star Wars universe that
Yeah.
will be completely, like he's treading a new path as far as the story that doesn't involve Luke Skywalker. Which is fine, but it's also exciting because it's new storytelling.
Right. Which is awesome.
The act going into that last episode, the Ray Stevenson who plays Balin Skull, the
guy with the beard, the white beard.
He passed.
Oh, that's that guy.
Yeah, he's no longer he died.
So what?
Exactly. Going into that last episode, I was like, well, there one of two ways, without knowing spoilers, I was like, there's one of two ways. Either there is a last battle sequence where Ahsoka finally gets the better of him and kills him, or like or they create a quick right off to the sunset, and he has like an end that happens, you imagine, off screen, and you're like, oh, well, that's how they killed him off. The way that they end that with how they ended it,
it leads him very much into the next show.
Yes, he was. From what you're led to believe, he was going to be a key component.
Yes.
Into season 2.
That was the impression
minimum.
I had as well.
So. And that's exciting because as a character, he's net new as well, and was super fat. He was very well received in the Star Wars community. Shin Hati, not so much. Like his protege.
I didn't care for her character.
Yeah, always
slithering.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. No one cares about you. Get out of here.
Well, because he's like stoic or whatever, and he has a. He has knowledge or whatever.
Oh yeah,
he's he knows what's going on, and she's just picking up the pieces afterwards.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I can't wait for power, and he's like, oh, by the way, go ahead and kill those people, and good luck with that. I'm just gonna sit here and
go do this.
Yeah, go.
She's like,
you can't hear him calling to you. She's like, I want power, and he's like, fucking go away. You bother me, you little shit. You ain't good for nothing.
Of course, he's the one that has to kick the bucket.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks. I didn't realize that was that dude.
Yeah.
Oh. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
See, they'd have to find someone else.
Right.
Or CGI his face or something. And that's tough on lots of episodes. So
I got nothing. I don't know. But I'm excited. And then Thrawn, super but how do you think of him as a enemy?
Oh, he's exactly what you expect.
Right.
I mean, he's the quintessential
evil
empire.
Yes, I like him more than I like the emperor. He is just
he tries to see all the chess plays.
Yes, he's an evil Batman.
Yeah.
We'll send 2 TIE fighters, and if they manage to hit their mark, then fuck it. And if we lose them,
that's acceptable.
That's acceptable.
We lost that many.
We can only lose, but mathematically we'll be fine. Fucking what a
ruthless.
Yeah, brutal. He knows in the books, and you see this as he's escaping and he's talking to jawing at Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm.
Now we'll chalk this up as a victory for me. And I say, and by good day, kind of that kind of thing. That whole thing, he, during the rebellion, in the Clone Wars series, so when they're fighting the Separatists and the robots, before the Emperor is the Emperor, Thrawn is a general, an admiral, that the Jedis worked with, to defeat the robots. So, and in the books, he goes on a mission with Anakin as a Jedi.
Oh.
And him being him, like, picks apart Anakin's behaviors and how reckless he is, and like, yes, okay. And he behaves like this, and I could see the chosen one. I don't really get that, but he's very, very strong, very smart. Okay. Then the Emperor becomes the Emperor, and Anakin becomes Vader, and they both end up in a proto-rebellion fight. Thrawn, like, think Rebels series. Thrawn ends up on another mission, but this time he's with Vader, analyzing Vader, and then deduces, oh, that's Anakin Skywalker.
Oh.
So when Thrawn is jawing at Ahsoka and talking about how, and then knowing that Ahsoka is Anakin Skywalker's Padawan, he realizes, so yeah, I know who you are. And
So he's a psychoanalyst.
yeah, oh yeah, fucking smart.
Yeah.
So he goes all the way through describing to Ahsoka that he knows who her master is, and he knows who her master became without saying it. And you're
Right.
like, oh, fucking
Motherfucker.
what a motherfucker.
You blue bastard.
Fucking smart-ass fucker. Anyway, and on that note, Star Wars nerding out, you should return the cart.
Yeah, wash your hands.
Wash your ass.
Check your oil, Tony.
Register to vote.
Make the call if you need it.
Stay up to date on your shots.
Do the kindness.
Pick up the broom. We'll catch you next week.
Thanks for listening, everybody, even though we had one camera.
I was going to say, the camera never turned on, so fucking
Great
You
YouTube.
You should see the
Just
things
Jim.
I'm doing right now with no pants. It's amazing.
See you next week.
Next week. Bye.